So one of my favorite things to do is to cook my bacon outdoors because it reminds me of going camping. Hi, I'm Rob Levitt from Publican Quality Meats, and let's make some homemade bacon on the Weber SmokeFire. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna mix up our cure. So we're gonna start with equal parts kosher salt and brown sugar. And then we'll add just enough of this coarse ground black pepper to your liking. I like mine with a little kick to it, but not too crazy. And some local maple syrup. So we'll add just enough maple syrup until this is about the texture of like wet sand. And this should be just enough to coat a nice little piece of pork belly. So for this piece of pork belly, you can see we've taken the ribs off. We've cleaned out a little bit of the extra fat. We've taken the skin off. You can leave the skin on if you want, but a lot of people prefer it off. That's how we do it. And then we're just gonna dump this whole thing. You wanna coat the whole surface, but you really kinda wanna take some time and massage it in. That way it cures a little more evenly. When this is all rubbed and looking delicious, we're gonna put it in a Ziploc bag, or if you have a vacuum seal machine, that works really well too. And we're gonna leave it in your fridge for about 8 days. We have a piece of belly that has been cured and stored for 8 days. And you can see there's a lot of liquid coming off of this, and it's shrunk a little bit, and the texture is firmer, and everything's nice and dark. So in order to turn this from cured belly into actual bacon is where the SmokeFire comes in. So the SmokeFire is preheated to 200 degrees, but we're gonna set it on the smoke boost setting, which is a really cool feature of the SmokeFire. It infuses the cooker with a ton more smoke, which gives us that really wonderful smoky bacon flavor. About 20-25 minutes on that setting, and then we'll put it back to 200, and we'll cook it for about 2 hours, or until the internal temperature reaches 145 degrees. Perfect time to grab a couple of beers and relax. So it's time to take the bacon off. We're at 145 internal temperature. Look at that. We got this beautiful amber color, which is from all that smoke, but also from the maple. We're gonna take our probe out, and then very carefully, we're gonna take our bacon, we're gonna let that rest. And I like to let it chill overnight so that the whole thing sets up, and it makes it a lot easier to slice. So our bacon has been chilled overnight. It's nice and cold and nice and set up. It still looks beautiful and glistening and bacony. And I've got a nice long sharp knife, and we can cut this by hand, no problem. So what I like to do is, since I know I can't get it as thin and perfect as an electronic slicer, I'll sort of mark out the slices, and I'm gonna cut it as thin as I can, but I'm not gonna drive myself crazy. Fortunately, I like my bacon cut nice and thick. So one of my favorite things to do is to cook my bacon outdoors, because it reminds me of going camping. So we've got this amazing cast iron griddle. So now that it's been sizzling for a minute, sugars are starting to caramelize a little bit, and it's starting to get a good sear, make it nice and crispy. You see the edges are getting nice and golden brown. That fat is rendering. We flipped it all over, we'll put the lid back down and let it finish frying up, and then it's breakfast time. So hopefully you can see how easy it is to make your own homemade bacon on the Weber SmokeFire. It's really satisfying, it's really fun to be able to do this yourself. Feed it to your friends, your family. I'm gonna go enjoy this with some Publican quality bread, some farm fresh eggs, and a nice hot cup of coffee.